In the top stories, government takes action to protect CBI program. Trinidad and Tobago Prime Minister encourages Sandals to invest in Tobago. And South Korea to hold a snap presidential election on June 3rd. Hello and welcome to the ZIZ Midday Newscast. Today is Tuesday, April 8th, 2025. I'm your presenter, Shanique Harvey, nationally. The government of St. Kitts and Nevis, alongside the Citizenship by Investment Unit, or CIU, has taken decisive steps to uphold the integrity of the Citizenship by Investment program. Following an investigation by the Ministry of National Security, Immigration and Citizenship, the government issued the St. Christopher and Nevis Deprivation of Citizenship Order 2025. The order revokes the citizenship of 13 individuals and their dependents for failing to meet the required investment minimum under the CBI program, despite claiming otherwise in their applications. The investigation, which involved 158 applications and contracts linked to 2 marketing agents, revealed that 32 applicants paid their outstanding balances, while 13 admitted non-payment and took no corrective action. 1 individual requested a hearing, and others are working with the ministry to resolve the issue. In addition, the citizenship revocations, the CIU has permanently blacklisted 2 international marketing agents, Latitude Consultancy and RIF Trust, for misleading clients by promoting investments below the statutory minimum. The government reiterates its commitment to maintaining the CBI program's integrity and enforcing strict compliance to ensure that only credible, compliant investors benefit from St. Kitts and Nevis citizenship. The permanent mission of St. Kitts and Nevis to the United Nations has announced the country's candidacy for a seat on the UN Economic and Social Council, or ECOSOC, one of the 6 principal organs of the UN. ECOSOC plays a central role in coordinating the UN's economic, social, humanitarian, and cultural activities and is responsible for fostering debate and achieving international goals. The election will take place on June 4th, 2025 in New York. St. Kitts and Nevis's bid for the ECOSOC seat is rooted in its vision to become the Caribbean's leading sustainable island state by 2040. The Federation aims to build on its resilience and sustainability efforts to achieve the UN's Sustainable Development Goals. The country's candidacy is focused on the theme Sustainability, Resilience, Security. Ambassador Dr. Mutrice Williams emphasized that the country's development agenda aligns with the UN's goals, particularly in climate action, biodiversity, environmental justice, and economic equity. She added that if elected, St. Kitts and Nevis would advocate for the most vulnerable, particularly as the region faces worsening storms due to climate change. Prime Minister Honorable Dr. Terence Drew affirmed that St. Kitts and Nevis is committed to using its voice on the global stage to secure sustainable, resilient, and secure partnerships for its people. The Bright Life Retirement Planning Secure Your Future seminar held on April 2nd, 2025 at the St. Kitts and Nevis Chamber of Industry and Commerce received positive feedback from attendees. Organized by Bryce Roberts Business Consulting Services, the seminar featured experts from Sagicor Life Eastern Caribbean Inc., Hazel Alain Law Office, and St. Kitts Cooperative Credit Union. Participants also heard from Mrs. Sheila Williams, who shared her personal retirement experience. The seminar emphasized the importance of early retirement planning, noting that responsibility lies with 3 key parties: the government, employers, and individuals. Experts highlighted the diminishing role of family as a safety net and encouraged proactive financial planning to avoid future health, financial, and relational struggles. The event also addressed broader retirement concerns, including health and relationships, and provided tips on managing both savings and investments. Attendees ranged from under 20 to over 50 years old, with participation supported both individually and through organizations. We move now to news on the regional scene. With the Caribbean already home to 5 major sandals projects, Prime Minister Stuart Young is pushing for Tobago to be next on the list. Speaking after a stakeholder meeting on Monday with Sandals Executive Chairman Adam Stewart, the Prime Minister revealed he had one simple pitch: make Tobago the 6th. The meeting, described by Young as cordial and constructive, brought together key Tobago stakeholders to discuss the potential for a Sandals Resorts international investment on the island. Though still early in the process, Young expressed optimism that this initial engagement could pave the way for a new chapter in Tobago's tourism development. Prime Minister Young noted that while there was no firm timeline, particularly with a general election just 3 weeks away, the consensus from those present was clear: Tobago is ready to welcome the Sandals Group. A new UN human rights report delivered in Geneva has laid bare the scale of devastation unfolding in Haiti, where unchecked gang violence has turned Port-au-Prince into what one expert described as a large open-air prison. With civil servants gone and hospitals shuttered, even public buildings bear the scars of a nation in collapse. The report presented at the 58th session of the Human Rights Council documents a staggering wave of violence and displacement. In just 8 months, over 4,200 people were killed and more than 1,300 injured, most by gunfire. Over 1 million Haitians have fled their homes in fear. The report calls for strict enforcement of the UN arms embargo, including tighter port and border controls, dismantling trafficking networks, and implementing buyback schemes. It also highlights the role of private security firms in the arms trade, calling for more oversight and regulation. Internationally, South Korea will hold a snap presidential election on June 3rd, following the removal of President Yoon Suk-yeol, who was ousted after the Constitutional Court upheld his impeachment due to his imposition of martial law last year. Acting President Han Duck-soo confirmed that the election must take place within 60 days of Yoon's ousting. The election is expected to be a tight contest between the Conservative People Power Party, or PPP, and the Liberal Democratic Party, or DP, which holds a majority in the National Assembly. The PPP faces significant challenges in uniting its factions, particularly after Yoon's divisive martial law decision. Several PPP figures, including Labor Minister Kim Moon-soo and Seoul Mayor Oh Si-hoon, are vying for the nomination, but internal divisions may hurt their chances. Lee Jae-myung, the leader of the DP, is the clear front-runner and is expected to secure his party's nomination. Despite facing multiple corruption trials, Lee remains popular among his supporters as a reformist figure. However, his critics argue that his rise has been marked by divisiveness. Political analysts suggest that the upcoming election will be shaped by moderates and younger voters who may prove decisive in determining the next president. And finally, in international news, the Trump administration's planned 30% tariffs on South African citrus exports are expected to threaten 35,000 jobs and destabilize the economies of entire towns, a farmers group warned on Tuesday. The Citrus Growers Association of Southern Africa stated that the tariffs set to go into effect on Wednesday will severely impact South Africa's largest agricultural export. The group estimates the tariffs will increase the price of South African citrus by $4.25 per carton for American consumers. South Africa supplies citrus to the U.S. market during the American off-season. As the world's second largest exporter of oranges after Spain and the fourth largest exporter of soft citrus, South Africa sends about 5 to 6% of its citrus exports to the United States, over 6.5 million cartons annually. Several rural towns in South Africa heavily depend on these exports, with some, like Citrusdal near Cape Town, facing potential job losses and even economic collapse. The tariffs are set to take effect just as South African citrus fruits are being packed for export to the U.S. The association is urging the South African government to prioritize talks with the U.S. to secure tariff reductions or exemptions for citrus. We move now to the weather. Present weather is partly cloudy skies with showers in the vicinity. Winds are a light breeze of 8 miles per hour from a northerly direction. The temperature for today is 28 degrees Celsius or 82 degrees Fahrenheit. Seas are 1.5 to 2.4 meters or 5 to 8 feet, with swells reaching 1.8 meters or 6 feet. Therefore, a high surf advisory is in effect. The weather forecast for today predicts partly sunny skies with brief cloudy spells and a 40% or moderate chance of a brief passing shower. Tonight is expected to be partly cloudy skies with brief cloudy spells and a 60% or moderate chance of brief passing overnight showers. Sunset for today will be at 6:26 p.m. and sunrise for tomorrow will be at 5:59 a.m. And that brings us to the end of the ZIZ Midday Newscast. Join us this evening for these stories and more in detail. Thank you for tuning in. I'm your presenter, Shanique Harvey.